you let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back! Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
Everybody, hello, it's Monday the 19th of January 2026. It is a cold one. It's going to be a cold week. And, well, yeah, it was a busy one last week. We did broadcasts, right? I'll tell you one thing. I might start replaying the Playhouse. On Fridays, we go live on the Playhouse on YouTube and Pilled. And then I think the next Friday after that, I might just replay the Playhouse. And then I think on the Saturday night specials, I might replay them on Sunday nights. Because I'll tell you, man, if you have not checked out the Playhouse, it's like classic Friday night vibe. We got some great people that are on the show. Me, Anthony, and Derek set the charge. 3/4 of Set the Charge on Friday night. It was great. It was awesome. It really was. So much show history, behind the scenes show history, and just it was good. And I hope that you guys really jump into it, because you know what, many of you would be hanging out with us. It was just simply on the Quite Frankly YouTube channel, and I know that you would appreciate it. So go check it out. It's on a playlist on the front page of the Quite Frankly YouTube channel, but I also pass those links around, and I might start re-premiering them the following week, because they're so good. They really are so good. And that's going to be a nice standalone show as we keep going on with it. What else? Saturday night was good too. We didn't do the big production that I wanted to do with my cousins. I told them to come back in on the 31st instead, because I kind of felt like I don't know if I was just run down. So I did something impromptu and a little bit more improvised from Studio B. And that ended up being great too, because I stumbled upon some old footage from our first gig as Set the Charge in 2014 at the Trash Bar. And it was great to see. It was a drum cam, a GoPro that was set up like right back where the drums were. And I had been looking for this video for years, and it just happened all in one night. So, yeah, great. And thank you for everybody that showed up, had a good time. We do our thing, and we will continue to do our thing. And hats off to the cool kids. All right. Tonight, in a little bit, I'm going to have Megan Fox jumping on with us just to talk about some things. One of them is, of course, again, a sociological look into the state of things, the mental state, the state of the rotten heart and soul that we are seeing expressed in so many ways. Now it's just walking on into churches. This, of course, in Minnesota. And the real question, I guess I'll ask Megan this here too, is ICE is all over the place right now. Immigration and customs is all over the country right now, conducting operations that you're not hearing about. They're in every major city. They are conducting operations in small towns and suburbs and major cities all over the place. All eyes are on Minnesota, though, St. Paul. This is all happening. This is all happening, and this is what, like, the epicenter of it right now. The only thing that sets it all apart from what's happening across the country is the fact that this is where most of the expose has been done right now with the billions, tens of billions of dollars worth of fraud that is being stolen right out of your pocket. Money I'm sure you need, that we all need, that that lives for everyday Americans would be vastly different if it were never taken at all. If we, at the end of this, we ever get an honest accounting of all the waste, and I'm talking about waste, let's just say Social Security was run perfectly. It's still not legal. Take your retirement into your own hands. Don't let government manage it for you, because they'll just spend it all and charge it to the central bank. If it was all run perfectly, the money that is being wasted on top of everything that is just being stolen, we could probably take 75% off of or more, 75% off of the spending that is done every year, and nobody would even feel it. Just imagine that. Imagine having all that money back in your pocket. You know, you don't need to petition, one politician or another for a better trade deal or this and that. We can start by just giving everybody 4 months out of their work year back to them. We could just give everybody what's theirs, and that's it. You don't have to thank you so much for giving. No, thank myself. You can thank yourself. And I think that's the only real thing that's separating what we're seeing in Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and everywhere else. Because ICE is all over the place. But this is what we're getting right now. And that's what we have going on this weekend. So we had this congregation that was raided by a group of militant liberals, and among their ranks was a homeless man named Don Lemon, who used to be a member of high society, or he thought, when he would go to a nice, warm, cozy studio in New York to do his little CNN shtick. But now he's resorting to scarring women and children, terrorizing them with a bunch of retards, Marxist retards from the local area and anywhere else they were called in on. We have so much to do. I'm a little salty tonight. So I'm going to try to really make sure I don't ruin my career to any major degree. Okay? So that's what we have tonight. That's what he's doing. That's in particular what's crazy, that this right here, Don Lemon showed up with these people as they're walking in on Sunday service, repeating the name of the woman that got herself killed. Yeah, there you go. We have freaks like this guy, whoever the hell this is. They showed up because they're looking for a guy named David Easterwoods. And they don't know if it was the pastor of this church or somebody that's just named it somewhere else. It doesn't matter, because the other thing that we're getting out of especially these cities, these twin cities, are that they're just hunting people. They're just roving mobs of people walking through the streets that everybody's being mistaken for ICE. So some people are like trapped inside of coffee houses. They don't want to come out because people think that they're ICE when they're just like local computer technicians or something like that. Of course, just like the French Revolution, they're eating their own. I saw one guy completely get decked and had the shit kicked out of him by a small mob before somebody showed up and vouched for him, said, he's one of us. And everybody's like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. You look blah, 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 and then giving all the rationalizations why they mistakenly beat the shit out of this guy. And at that point, he's just too punch drunk to even be like, what the fuck, guys? Yo, I don't know what to say. I don't know. It's just one location. I know. Minneapolis, St. Paul. I know. It's a psyop, Frank. They make it think like it's in your backyard. These fucking people are everywhere. They didn't say give up. I didn't say cower in your homes. I'm just saying this is another level. Another level. The declarations that are being made. The fact that Don Lemon is such a pathetic slug. And now he's terrorizing women and children during Sunday services in order to make content on YouTube. It's absolutely It's just incredible. Listen to this guy, whoever the hell this retard is. Here he is.
As you can see, all these pretend Christians.
Now listen. He this is I guess on TikTok now you can take two-sided video where you can actually utilize both cameras, the front and the back, because this is real time. He's filming all these people and screaming at them. It looks like he's doing a reaction video, but he's not. So that, I guess that's what's going on here.
All these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps.
Lavish, comfortable lives. Because anybody, you're only allowed to go to church on Sunday or Saturday evening. Only people who live lavish, comfortable lives go to church, spend a little bit of time in prayer and reflection in a house of worship once a week. That's only what's happening. That's what you find everywhere.
You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man
Latino and Somali brothers and sisters
wearing a suit. Is a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No, Jesus would dine with immigrants. You do not touch me.
Jesus would dine with immigrants. I hate these fucking people so much. Speaking like the devil with the forked tongue over here. Maniacal. These people, and they always love purity testing Christians, especially because they would never talk this way to a Jew or a Muslim. They love purity testing Christians. Purity testing, and by the way, apparently everybody around them doesn't live up to Christian ideals that are always so ironically in line with these commies' worldview. Then why are they atheist? Why are they atheist? They always make Jesus sound like some pansy-ass commie. Came into the place flipping tables. Beating people who were trespassing in the temple like animals. Whipping them. That's my savior. Whipping trespassers like animals. We've the balls. The balls. The balls. This homeless fuck. Whoever the hell he is.
Again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't.
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Somalian?
Yeah, that's when you throat punch him, dude. You have a wild animal in front of you, and there's women and children everywhere. You don't know what that wild-eyed animal's going to do. He's on private property. This is not free speech. Okay? Everybody's, well, they have a right to assemble. No, you have a right to peaceably assemble, not to go into private property and to disrupt people and to the First Amendment. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, always remember our Bill of Rights is a restriction on what government can and cannot do. It's a restriction on what government can't do. Okay? They cannot offer any kind of legislation and abridge speech in any way, shape, or form. This is not about redress of grievances or anything like that. You certainly don't have a right to be heard. Okay? This is to make sure that government doesn't write law restricting speech, doesn't allow people to hound others and harass them. But we have a retard of his own right who had been given things because he checks certain boxes. He's black, he's gay, he's stupid. You got to give stupid people jobs. That's Don Lemon. And he's showing up and he's just there. Just like when CNN got the drop on Roger Stone. Roger Stone's 5 a.m. raid with the FBI back in 2019. They're just these creeps. Then again, his sources are probably a lot lower on the totem pole these days. Here's Don Lemon talking about all of the trauma. Yeah, just listen to his condescending tone. These are the tones of people who, again, if you are strapped down to a gurney in into a dungeon somewhere, and you're having your fingernails and your toenails ripped off. These are the people that would sit over you and go, I know, and rub your head. It must really hurt. But this just has to be done. Has to be done. There's some psychopaths, psychos.
This guy here, look, he's hugging his kid. And, you know, I imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. But again, careful, it's very slippery right
I wish you broke your fucking leg. Careful, it's slippery.
here. Yeah. It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but that's what really, careful, please, really slippery.
Oh, please, cameraman, please be careful. Please be careful. I don't want you to break your iPhone. But, you know, as far as the children we just traumatized, that's what protesting is all about. See the priorities with this fucking weasel?
Not kidding. That's what protesting is about. And so...
Yeah, protesting is about frightening the children. No, that's called terrorism. That's terrorism. There's a political end. There's a political edge, a political motivation to terrorism when you instill fear in people. Okay? There is nothing that those people in that church were going to be able to do to change local ordinance. You want to redress of grievances. You want to bring something to the local government, to your sheriff, to your House representative, whatever the hell it is, that's where you bring it. You don't go terrorize locals. But this is what they always do. You know, somebody has a problem with the cops, they go burn down a grocery store and they rob a Foot Locker. This is what they do. And then he goes inside and in real time, he goes and he interviews the pastor of the church that they just invaded. This makes, and I said this on Twitter today too, this makes Ken Rosenthal, his spooky little presence in the dugout during Sunday night baseball games, look almost comforting. Whenever I'm watching a baseball game on Sunday night or in October, when Fox is carrying the game, little 3.5 foot tall Ken Rosenthal squirreling, slithering around the dugout, trying to interview everybody after every base hit. What do you how did it feel when the ball coming off the bat? Get the fuck out of here! Get out of here, Ken! You little ghoul. Well, here's Don. What do you think about the scene here? It's ongoing.
What do you think of this? I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
Yeah.
Freedom to assemble and protest. So to Don Lemon, people can just walk into your home, sit in your living room, take shits on the couches, and that's protest. That's free speech. Completely overlooks the whole peaceable assembly thing. Completely overlooks the fact that this is private property. It's a house of worship. It's just crazy. But there are no lines they are unwilling to cross. The Jacobins. There are no lines that are unwilling to cross. And I just hope everybody is starting to take note of that. I hope. I know why people are feel restrained right now, because we know the other side of this. We know the other side of this. Okay? And he was outside giving coffee to people. All the people who just went into the church to stir things up. Don Lemon was outside giving everybody Starbucks coffee. Okay? That's where he is now. He's a PA. He's a production assistant for a bunch of smelly ass Marxists. And then he goes on to this woman. I don't know who the hell she is. I see her all over the place now. Let me get Megan Fox in here. And then he goes on this woman's podcast. I see her all over as she looks like Botoxed roadkill. She looks like a deer. She actually looks like a deer that's had Botox and then got hit by an 18-wheeler. And she's on the road. There's something wrong with her face, but she looks like a deer. And he's talking with her, and he essentially, after all of this, says that people are only upset because they're entitled white supremacists. Listen.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice.
Yeah, I wonder what Christianity that is, Don. Anything that takes you as a member is fucking nonsense. I'm a Christian. What does that mean? Do whatever you like.
But I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only...
Tell us about that. Tell us about that clash. Tell us about that clash, why we came over here. Tell us what people were fleeing there, Don. Don needs to be taken out of this country. I want him out of this country. I want him out of this fucking country. Okay? Deportation is just not for illegals anymore. I'm sorry. Megan, welcome to the show. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I, too, would like to deport Don Lemon after watching this. I'm so angry. The words that are coming up into my brain about this, I can't say on YouTube. No. But let me just tell you, this is some of the worst crap I've ever seen. And by the way, in the day and age in which we live, every church has a lockdown policy because of shooters and the problems that we've had with these shooters walking into churches and religious schools. So every church has a lockdown policy. And are you telling me that right in the middle of this church's lockdown procedure, Don Lemon has decided this is the right time to interview the pastor of this church? No. Absolutely ridiculous. And trying to make him look stupid for not wanting to give an interview right in the middle of, he doesn't know if his parishioners are about to be killed. He doesn't know if somebody with a gun is coming. He has no idea. He's just trying to figure out how to deal with this situation, which, by the way, Frank, is a crime in Minnesota. It is statute 609.28, interfering with religious observance. Every single one of these people ought to be charged with not only one, interference is a misdemeanor, but physical interference is actually a gross misdemeanor, and all of them should go to jail. They should go to jail immediately and be put on trial, including Don Lemon, for doing this because he was part of it.
I would be in jail too. This morning, if that was my parish, this morning I would have woken up in jail. Just because there is no way in hell. There's no way in hell. I don't know if I would be the only one going at it. I would hope that everybody would start throwing down at some point. But you know what the crazy thing is, that when you listen to this here too, where after all that, to go out and to have the nerve to say people are only upset about that display because they come from a place of privilege and racial supremacy. These are people who live race supremacist ideals every day in whatever they do, whatever they write, whatever they propose is all. They live racism every day. It's their entire being. The fact that even here, less than 24 hours after the fact, that it's really just comes down to even like when we were watching Donald Trump get molested on television every night over the Russia thing, where you put somebody in a corner where they've got to make a choice. Am I going to fire the special prosecutor that is completely illegitimate, or do I let him just pick through my life, because I know if I do something to put people in their place, my objection to this molestation is proof of my bigotry or corruption. And I mean, this is what I'm talking about. They need to be dealt with, and I think everybody gets the point. I think most people are wondering what comes next, because I know some people have hang-ups on federal interference with cleaning up what is a state issue, but Megan, nobody on a state level is governing anymore. This local governments across the country are choosing not to govern.
Yeah, this is sick. It's not only a violation of Minnesota law for interfering in religious practice, but it's also a hate crime under Minnesota law. Because as you notice, when he walked in, he started screaming about the white people. And so his motivation to walk into that church is that it was full of white people. He made his motivation clear, and protected characteristics under the law of 609.2233 say actual or perceived race. So if you're committing a crime and you're doing it because, and your motivation is because of that person's perceived or actual race, you're also committing a hate crime. Now, I hate hate crime laws, but I say throw the book at them. Throw everything you possibly can at these people. Interrupting our religious services, no matter what religious services they are, is totally unacceptable in this country. It is unacceptable, and they should have everything thrown at them they possibly can have, including Don Lemon. I want him in cuffs. How this can stand is outrageous to me. It is outrageous to me. I don't get it. And also, consider the fear that they put those people in, those children, the fear of terrorism, right? They're not knowing whether or not they're going to be shot in their seats. This is the thing I can't get over.
Yeah.
They created in an environment that is just like a school shooting, right? And they inflicted terror on people for no other reason than they're white people attending a church. I would like to see them try this in the black churches of Minnesota.
Oh no. Oh no. No.
I would like to see you do it, protesters. How about you go to the mosque in Minnesota and try it there?
Oh, no, you see, they wouldn't do that because they've already positioned themselves. And this is why I think why we're dealing with this right now is really just because of the fraud angle that is that has been uncovered over the last few weeks with Nick Shirley's work and all out there. Because I know that ICE operations all over the country are in play, and they're doing things. They are working all over the place. But Minnesota is front and center right now because there's just a little extra there. And Somalians are, of course, a big part of that fraud story, though, of course, it is so much more widespread than that. People have been getting in on that way before the 90s when that refugee program really kicked into gear. So and as you can see from any of Nick Shirley's follow-up videos, they talk just like Democrats, the Somalians. This is because we're Muslim. You just don't want Muslims in this country. It's like, no, this is all about fraud. So they've already positioned. They've gotten on the same page in that stuff. There's a reason why they would never go next to a mosque. I mean, because obviously this is all about white people who don't want Muslims in the country, and it's not about I
hate to inform them, but there are plenty of white people who sit in Protestant churches and Catholic churches across this nation who are on their side. So when you go into these places and you do things like that, you're alienating people who actually would agree with you. It's not like Christians are a monolith. They just simply aren't. You can find many churches that fall under the Christian umbrella that are far left on many of these issues. The Roman Catholic Church does not have a good track record with immigration, with legal immigration in this country. In fact, Catholic Charities has been at the root of many of the illegal crossings and the protection of illegal aliens. And that's my church. That's unfortunate. I think Rome ought to stop doing stuff like that. But it's not like you're not walking into the enemy's territory by walking into any church. You're not. There are going to be people on both sides of these issues in every church in America. So frankly, I think this just alienates people. It just alienates people who might otherwise have agreed with them had they behaved in a more rational manner.
And the only reason why these people haven't really been annihilated by American citizens is because the legal system, the media, the politicians, they choose to do nothing but virtue signal about resistance being necessary, and then they slink back and they slap the wrists of police. They create a vacuum to be filled by what will always be extremists, because normal people don't want anything more than just be left alone. Even we have grievances, but we would never crash in on a church or a courthouse or loot a store. Local governments, like I said before, they have chosen not to govern. And then the men in the church, if the men in the church did the righteous thing and cold clocked any of these vermin and dragged them out of the building and threw them into the snow, into a snowbank, guess where the media and the judges are going to be placing their attention? That's part of the reason why this continues to go on. It's horrendous, because I would much rather there be a couple of local brawls. I would much rather there be a couple of local brawls than the Insurrection Act having to be, federal troops marching into St. Paul. I would rather see communities say enough is enough and get into a couple of fistfights. I would rather that than anything else.
This whole problem has begun and was started by law enforcement who refuses to do their job. ICE requested from the very beginning that they simply turn over the illegals in the jails, so they didn't have to be out on the street. And what did Minneapolis do instead? Well, they let them go instead of hand them over to ICE. So this has been created by local law enforcement and the local authorities, probably not every local law enforcement, cops just follow orders, all of that. What can they do? What can the cop on the street do? Nothing. But the mayor, the governor, we're talking about people who are, they're giving the finger to the federal government. And that in this country has a bad history of going the wrong way for those who are against the feds. We lost, the last time this happened, we lost 500,000 Americans in a war fought between the states because some states decided that they didn't have to listen to the federal government, and they learned the hard way that that is not true. You cannot, as the United States of America, decide that your federalism, your states' rights issues trump federal law in all things. You can't, and we've already bled for this cause. People have died for this cause, and it has been decided, and the union was preserved. So these governors who are doing this, in my opinion, ought to be thrown in the clink immediately.
Well, if the Civil War were being fought over immigration and federal jurisdiction there, I'd agree with you. But we have, I don't even want to bring up 1860 right now because this is because there's just so much more that has just been piled on top of this for the last 175 years or however the hell how much it was. And it's true though. When it comes to, let me just divert back to your work. One of the first couple of times, maybe like the 3 times you've come on, the first 3 times we talked about things like CPS. We talk about government programs or government adjacent programs and agencies and bureaus. We know, there is a little bit of a, so where do we go from here? Because we know that federal response, ham-fisted response from big clunky federal agencies to be able to get an objectively good outcome in a local area or something like that in Minneapolis. You're just so bad. You want to win so bad that you think about what tools are in the shed that can be used to bring about a righteous end in this instance. But then you have to wonder what position does that leave us in down the road? Is there anything that can be used against us? Now, as January 6, 2021, I mean, the whole federal apparatus that used to be pointed outward into the world to find Al-Qaeda was now pointed completely inward to just nab thousands of people from the interior. So you say, this is nothing like that. I mean, we're talking about a zone of people who are acting up in a pretty much ungovernable area right now. People who have no allegiance to the United States, that are wishing its death, that want to kill, they're threatening federal officers and all that other stuff. But at the same time, there are things like this. I saw from Leading Report today, Palantir is reportedly developing a tool for ICE that displays a map of potential deportation targets, allows agents to pull up detailed profiles on individuals, and assigns a confidence score estimating how likely each person is to be at a given address per 404 media. I want immigration and federal law in that respect to be forcefully put to use and applied. But at the same time, I don't like these new tools. I don't like things like that. And I mean, what do you think about it? Because you're very big.
It's difficult. It's difficult, right? I mean, I have libertarian leanings. I don't like feds. Feds are all lame and gay. I don't like the feds. I don't want them to have unlimited power against Americans. But that's the key word here, against Americans. I don't give a shit what they do to people who are not Americans here. I do not care. I care not. Very, very few times do I care. I think I can name one case where I believe an illegal was horribly mistreated and murdered by cops, and it was totally unnecessary. That was a case in Florida where he was awaiting his hearing for amnesty or whatever, and he got picked up for absolutely no reason. And there was a struggle ensued. He didn't speak English, and they killed him. Or injured him badly. Did he die? It doesn't matter. That was like the only case I can think of where it was, out of hand. In general, when these people are here and they didn't come in legally and they've committed crimes, I do not care what the federal government does. I don't. I care what they do to us. And I think that those protections do exist. They exist, and if they step over them, I think they can be litigated. I don't know much about the new tools you're talking about, and that might actually change my mind on some of it. But I will say this. Do you remember when George W. Bush was president and there was a Code Pink protesting all the time? That Cindy Sheehan, who in retrospect was right, that war was stupid and we shouldn't have been there. But she was protesting everywhere that the president went, and Code Pink was causing all kinds of problems. And at some point, the president's administration said, okay, we're done with this. And you have a free speech zone, and here's where it is. And we're putting you behind a gate. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And it was, and it was all over the news about, oh, how terrible these free speech zones are. Yeah, but they got to do their protesting. The cameras were still there, but they weren't allowed to interfere with law enforcement, with Secret Service. They weren't allowed to interfere. They were causing interferences. So they were stopped from doing that. I don't see what stops us from doing that in this Minnesota thing. Why have the protesters not been corralled? I'm for putting in a free speech zone. And the other thing is, I'm all for civil protest. But you don't have a right to be disruptive or to interfere in police or Fed activity. You just don't. I've been to many protests. I was part of the Tea Party protests. There were huge protests, just absolutely gigantic protests during the Obama years. And when we would go protest, there would be thousands of people, and the police would be there to do crowd control. And I remember a couple times being told, get back on the sidewalk. And we got back on the sidewalk. It wasn't that difficult. We carried our signs. We made our point. We made the news. Nobody went to jail. And we even cleaned up after ourselves and took our garbage out when we left. That's a legitimate civil protest. You don't have a right to cause riots, to do violence, to storm churches, to interfere with police. You don't have that right. So I want to see mass arrests of these protesters who are stepping off the sidewalk. That's what I want. If they are interfering, they're going in the street, they're stopping law enforcement from doing something, they need to go to jail immediately. And I think without the Minneapolis police, though, helping to do this, all we can listen to is these people saying ICE doesn't have authority. And they're actually believing it, that the feds don't have authority to arrest a protester who's an American citizen. Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they do. And unfortunately, though, they are strapped. They don't have the manpower that can actually do it. So I say National Guard, or not National Guard, let Trump declare the Insurrection Act, bring in the military, and round them up. If they are protesting legally, if they are doing it peacefully, then they can stay. But they better stay on the sidewalk.
You can tell that the missive has gone out. They said, do not smash one storefront window. Don't you dare. Not one storefront window. Maybe it's because that the good woman was white. I don't know. But they have kept very close to this. It's been more so about like posses. It's been posses forming, and it's really strange where people are almost like, it's almost like papers, please. Oh no, are you sure? Like I was reading. Do I have it even in here? I was reading this one thing. It was crazy. I probably don't have it. I was reading it before. These people that were walking around and they were pretty much purity testing each other. I was talking about that just inside the church. Whenever they want to go after somebody on religious level, they always pretend to have perfect knowledge of what the ideal representation of a person's faith should be. Of course, they have no faith. They think it's all silly and backwards ass bullshit. But apparently, it's so much more. It's amazing when they describe it. I don't know why they're not so, but they are very religious. They're religious. Their religion is political, progressive chameleon. True. That's it. It's political chameleon, progressive shit.
Their religion is politics. And it is really frustrating to watch these people who believe in who make fun of you for believing in the flying spaghetti monster or whatever they call God. It's annoying to watch them walk into a house of worship and then try to tell them what they should be doing. No, you're not a real Christian. Well, you don't believe in Christianity anyway. You don't believe that these people are pious or good. So, all right, your point's made, right? Why are you expecting them then, these people that you think are corrupt in the first place? Why are you expecting them to go and do these good works that you think they should do? But I really do have a question for these protesters. What is keeping them out of the Black community churches? I don't see a lot of Black protesters in their midst. In fact, I see a bunch of white soccer moms and lesbians. I don't see Black communities rising up in Minneapolis to take part in these protests. So why aren't they walking into the Black churches and interrupting them and demanding them to get out on the streets? Aren't they the usual allies in this?
I would love to see people. I would love to see people coming together. I would love to see people coming together on this stuff.
Too.
Me too. It would be amazing. Like,
let's go Minneapolis, find it out already. Like, how many of you good abiding citizens are getting tired of having your city hijacked by these paid agitators? Because damn well they're paid agitators. These are not people. These are people who came from all over the country, right? Didn't Renee Good come from some other state like Missouri or something to be there? Like, does she work? Did she work? Did she have a job? Why can they do this all day? It's because they're paid. It's because they're useful idiots, and they're just doing the work of these big organizations like Code Blue and all these others, Soros-funded organizations that have been doing this kind of crap forever.
It's even worse than that, and that's what is essentially being highlighted in Minneapolis, in that whole area, is that we are funding it. Like, when you see how
we're funding it, that's bad.
Yeah. Where do you think all this money that's coming in?
I don't know. Where is it coming from? I want to know.
The Medicare, all those block grants that go to the states to fund these gigantic bloated programs, they are disseminated by the actual state governments to fund the daycares, to fund the transportation companies and the healthcare fronts and all that other stuff. And they, as we're seeing, there are just hundreds, if not thousands, of shell companies all over the place and addresses that don't match any kind of signs of life in many cases. And through there, every year, tens of billions of dollars funnel through not only to local and regional politicians, probably of both parties, but also they just leave the country altogether. If you think it's not getting washed through and then going into open societies and George Soros funds and all that stuff, he's not spending his own money. There is so many trillions of dollars being created and stolen right now. George Soros is probably
all came from USAID.
Oh yeah, listen, which comes from us.
Right, which all comes from us. It's so frustrating. This is why I quit paying attention to politics, Frank. This is why I told you I can't spend my life doing this anymore.
Now, this pissed me off.
It's too upsetting. Listen, I just saw something. Andy No on Twitter is reporting that BLM activist Nikema Levy Armstrong actually took credit for the church storming. So was this a BLM operation? That should be interesting because there is a tweet out there from her that says, here's a clip of our demonstration this morning at City's Church in St. Paul. Taking credit for it. Throw her in jail too.
Could be. Now let me ask you something else. You have to leave at 7:50 again?
Yeah, or 8. I can go till 8. It's
okay.
Fine. I don't actually start my stream till 8:15.
Okay, well listen, I understand what that buffer means. So let's just get let's I want to move on from this. Seeing things like this in particular, when you see just the women and the children, that pisses me off. And then Don Lemon was the cherry on top. Whatever happens in your career in journalism, Megan, which you are very great at what you do, just be happy. I have to imagine that anytime you have a bad day, you look in the mirror, you say, I'm not Don Lemon.
I am not Don Lemon. Thank God Almighty, I am not Don Lemon.
It's okay. Things get it's infinitely better at that point. But no,
it could always be worse.
It could always be worse. Let me ask you what you think about this.
Now, are we going to talk about UFOs?
Yes.
God, I hope so, Frank.
That's next.
This is the funniest article ever.
That's next. And let me just say, I double and triple checked if this was satire, and it has been picked up on it by Newsweek and by
It's
Yahoo.
Real.
Yeah,
it's real.
It's real, and it's not. They do not. They're not mocking it. Here it is. The Bank of England must plan for a financial crisis sparked by aliens. A former analyst at the central bank has urged Governor Andrew Bailey to put contingencies in place to prevent collapse if alien life is confirmed. The Bank of England must plan for a financial crisis being triggered by an official announcement confirming the existence of alien life of one of its former policy experts has claimed. Helen McCaw served as senior analyst in financial security at the UK Central Bank, preparing for events that could impact the economy. She has now written to Andrew Bailey, the bank's governor, urging him to organize contingencies for the possibility that the White House may one day confirm we are not alone in the universe. McCaw, a Cambridge graduate, believes a declaration of that magnitude would send shockwaves through the markets and could trigger bank collapses and civil unrest. What do you... I feel
like we already got this announcement, didn't we? Wasn't there already an announcement from the White House that, yes, we can identify these things and we think they might be alien technology? And didn't people already just give it a giant ho-hum meh sigh? I feel like they do this every couple of years, so they must be trying to distract us from something else, because I think the majority of people have come to the conclusion that there's probably other life out there. But in my opinion, I think they avoid us the way that white people avoid any road named Martin Luther King Drive.
On Martin Luther King Day.
On Martin Luther King Day. Yes. That's how we are. We are the ghetto of space. There's no way that more intelligent life wants anything to do with the shit show that is us.
Well, let me look at this. I have it in a chat room. I put up a chat room poll. Ladies and gentlemen, vote right now. Although it's pretty lopsided. I can see where this is going. With just about 400 votes in right now, I asked the question, if there was legitimate alien disclosures made, what would happen? I said, A, no one would care. B, chaos and looting. Or C, the banks would steal from us either way. And right now, C, the banks would steal from us. C is winning 61%, 31%.
I voted A, but also then I saw C and I was like, oh, I should have voted for C. But it's true that, like, what is this article trying to do?
Exactly.
Shore up the banks? Like, what are we doing here? I mean, I could care less what happens to the banks. Okay, the banks are terrible to us and they are stealing from everyone. I mean, look at your mortgage rates, for God's sake. Look at how much money you think you bought a $200,000 house. You end up giving the bank $800,000 over your 30 years. Almost all of it's in interest. How this is not illegal is incredible to me. So those are the things I care about more than alien life. No, I don't think it would cause anything to happen other than people would go, we told you so.
I know. I actually posted this meme on Instagram today. I love it.
The memes are good.
I had seen it before, and this one I loved so much. Here, I think you'd like this. There you go. It's
yes, this is the one I saw.
When the alien asked the Wojak, "Are you not shocked?" He says, "Man, I got a lot going on lately."
Honestly, this is the perfect meme, because I'm more worried about how the bank is robbing me through my interest on my mortgage than I am about aliens. In fact, what I think about aliens is, well, maybe they'll fix shit. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll be better than this, because what we're dealing with is absolute garbage. It's just garbage, and everybody who's in charge is an asshole, and there's just nothing to do about it but sit here and watch it burn.
It's definitely more like when you talk about when you talk about the response of the public, no doubt about it, the response from the Republic, the organic response from the public will mostly be whatever. And it'll be underwhelming.
We're so abused already. In fact, this is the one. I can't share my screen. Shoot, I was going to share my screen it disabled my screen.
Hold on a second.
I want to show you my meme.
Wait a second. Let me do this. Wait. I think there you go. Try that now.
All right, there we go. Here, this one. I love this meme. If you enjoyed COVID and 9/11, you're gonna love the alien invasion.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be fantastic. Well, that's what we were calling in the middle of COVID. I started calling it what was it? Project Flu Beam. I said if you take both those things, all you have to do is swap out alien with virus, and it's the same exact thing. You know, but it's even easier. It's something you can't see.
Yes.
And I don't know, but Megan, here. Okay, so put your conspiracy cap on. This is the real question. The reason why I would bring something like this up, because I know that it would be on a range of enthusiasm from the ufology folks, from all the late night talk shows I still listen to on Ground Zero and this one and that one, and I think people would be really, really excited. I know that Linda Moulton Howe would be very happy, and you know, that stuff. I think most people, everybody else would be a little bit indifferent, and well, what does that mean? And I got other problems. But when we're talking about anything, I know this is a former central bank figure over there, but when anything comes from a government or anything comes on a state bank issue, people are often wondering, okay, well, how is this going to be spun into a reason for,
are they planning
reset?
on the next? Is this the next financial crisis they need an excuse for?
It used to be a war. It used to be wars were a way of like covering up all of the improprieties of certain lending institutions.
Exactly.
You know,
what the question we should be asking is, what have the banks done? Exactly.
Yeah. And is it so? Is it that that a war is no longer possible? Like a war, like have they been blocked from starting a much larger war? Because usually they'll just try to get a whole bunch of people killed somewhere on Earth, but to defer to aliens, that's something different.
That's really something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should all be on the lookout for the next financial crisis. I just sent you another one on X, actually, which is quite funny. It's they've got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse crying on the stand, and it says bank officials trying to explain to Congress why aliens caused the next financial crisis.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's what I...
Oh geez. Oh, it was the aliens. Well, you have to understand, they've been out there. Good. They've been waiting. Good. I just don't know what else. You know what? Are there any big trials we get to look out for in the next couple of months? We can bring you back on.
Yeah. So Laura Owens, her trial, the pregnancy faker, she's going to trial in July in Maricopa County. I will be there.
Oh,
so it's going to be like a 3-week trial. So I can check in with you during that time. We can certainly do, another
on location. Updates. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll be there. I will be there every day, ass in seat, from jury selection till the final verdict. I will be there. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Do me a favor. When you're down there, I know you'll have a notepad and stuff, but on the side, put a little bit of a box where you can just check off instances where Laura makes eye contact with you. Like how many times do you get to lock eyes with her? We locked eyes
so far. I've been in a courtroom with her a couple times. At least, but she avoids eye contact with me. She has avoided me. It's funny. She's avoided me throughout this entire thing. She goes after other content creators, but she has avoided me quite specifically, I think, for a reason. But I'm happy to talk with Laura if she ever wants to be interviewed about what the hell she was up to over the last 10 years of her life.
I hope you get the behind the bars, like those old hard copy interviews from like behind the bars, and she's in the jump.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, that'd be crazy. That'd be wonderful.
She's gonna end up in the same prison as Jodi Arias.
Really?
Yeah. Maricopa County.
How long are they projecting after all of this scamming, all the compounding stuff that she's been doing over the last decade? Like, if the judge goes easy, what are we looking at? 5 to 7?
At least 5 to 7, at least. But she's looking at 30.
That's if they throw the book at her.
That's if they throw the book at her. Which, look, so far, prosecutors have not offered a deal, and in fact, they just dropped 7 more felonies. She is facing 14 now, 14 felonies, including identity theft now, which is a big one, and extortion, which is another big one. So they are not slowing down. This train appears to have no brakes, and I think the prosecutor's office wants blood on this one. I don't think they want to make a deal with her. And I think at this point, any deal would actually include jail time.
Wow. She gets out. I think it's just be like one of those things where she can't. What do you do? Like, what do you do when she gets out? Because there's so many. Because she's going to.
If she were smart, and she's a podcaster, right? She's got some talents. Her father was a broadcaster. She was trained in some of this. I mean, her podcast is horribly boring. But if she wanted to actually do something that would bring her probably success, she would admit to everything she did and make a podcast about people who do bad things.
Oh, yeah.
And who come to the realization that they either got caught, they went to jail, they did their community service, and then they reflect on what they would have done differently or what is life like going forward. That's the winning story arc for her. She could really do something with this. But she has to admit that she committed these crimes. And oh, Frank, I don't think she has it in her. She can't admit it.
She could be like one, if she can grasp that concept, it could be like one of those movies where this reformed old bank robber now that his prison term is over, starts a security company where he can go and test all of the vulnerabilities at a bank. It's like, listen, this is how I would do it. She should actually be like, she wanted to turn her.
Think about how riveting that would be to listen to criminals talk about committing their crimes and how they got caught and what that was like and what their time in jail was like. I mean, it could be riveting stuff that no one is really doing. And here she is. She could be at the forefront of it. She led a life of crime for at least 10 years.
That's what's going to happen. Okay, listen, this is what we have to do. Maybe if we have some time one day, we should write a script where it's almost like that movie Sneakers. You ever see Sneakers in 1992? Robert Redford. He's like a computer hacker or something like that, and he puts together a special group of people. I think Dan Aykroyd is in it, and
sounds good. I need to watch this.
Oh yeah, River Phoenix, Dan Aykroyd. So they get spooky, and Robert Redford, and they're essentially I think like a security team after all those the life of crime. You should definitely watch it, but she should be she should be the Robert Redford of the next Sneakers movie. We just have to find her some co-stars.
And she needs to come to grips with reality that she has done these things, and what she has done is illegal. It's harmed people, and she needs to make reparations. Indeed. If she can't do that, she can't move forward. She just can't. Don't worry, chat. I'm not going to be late. I'm actually even going to go and I'm going to eat dinner real quick, so I better run.
Okay. All right. Well, then, you know what? Before you leave, I just want to let you know that when you leave, I'm going to be doing a little segment on, because I've been, all this stuff has been reminding me about the French Revolution and how it became such an auto-cannibalistic horror show with the Reign of Terror and all that stuff. I wanted to get into that a little bit more, and I think I might sprinkle it in at some point, but I wanted to go back to some of the more funny parts of the meddling types of people that usually are in these kind of these movements to try to reshape the world. Do you know, before you leave, did you ever read anything about the French Revolutionary calendar when they wanted to get away from the Gregorian calendar and they wanted to?
I have not read about the calendar.
Oh
no.
my gosh!
But I do know that it's not just the French, by the way. There have been many revolutions that turned on each other, including, you should look up Pol Pot, because they turned on every ally that helped get Pol Pot into power, and that's where the famous killing fields come from. And it's not just it's every revolution like that this happens. But I would love to hear about the calendar. Yes, I will listen as I go scarf down my pasta.
Okay, you go scarf down the pasta. I just wanted to let you know what is coming up, and I'm going to pretend for the next 5 to 10 minutes or so that you're still on the air with me. Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to listen.
All right. Have yourself a good meal, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
That is Megan Fox, everybody, and I have her tagged inside the description of this episode. She goes live a little bit later on, and if you're invested in this show for the next hour, then you can watch her right afterwards when I start up book club session 3 for Ready Player One, which is awesome. This book is awesome. Okay, I'm so happy I picked it, and I'm sure everybody else is too. Next week is the last one, and then we watch the movie together. So sign on at least for the watch party. That'd be great. Anyway, think about all the little Einsteins that are out there that are taking a look at the world and what's wrong and who's to blame and how this all can get fixed. You know, Zoran Mamdani and his merry band of absolutely batshit crazy women. Everybody's got a solution. Well, even the French had a solution. And you know, the Soviets tried to do this too. They tried to do this in the early 20th century. And the French were trying to do this in the late what was it? This is the late 18th. And then Napoleon got rid of this. We had talked about this about 2 years ago, but didn't go into depth. Okay? At the height of the craziness of the French Revolution, we have what was called the French Revolutionary calendar. And I have a blog here that I had saved that's pretty good. It's by King Flum on screweddowncrown.com, okay? Now take a listen to this. French Revolutionary calendar. This is on October 5th, 1793. The Revolutionary Convention adopted the French Revolutionary calendar, backdating to September 22nd, 1792. That was the day that the calendar started. That was New Year's Day, because that was the day after the monarchy was abolished and France was declared a republic. So this new calendar, based on a system first proposed by Pierre Sylvain Maréchal in 1788, aimed to sweep away centuries of tradition and superstition. They wanted to de-Christianize everything. They wanted to get the church out, all that stuff, replace it with something scientific and rational as they're ripping out the still beating hearts of French princesses. They want something rational. Cannibalism in the streets of France, which is happening again now, but whatever. The calendar was created by a committee of leading scientists and mathematicians of the day, and here is what they came up with. Here are the changes. A day now had 10 hours instead of 24. An hour had 100 minutes instead of 60. A minute had 100 seconds instead of 60. A year was divided into 12 months of 30 days each. All right? Each month was divided into 3 10-day, what they call decades, replacing the 7-day week. So now it was a 10-day week. At the end of each year, 5 extra days and 6 extra days in leap years were added as national holidays. The new year began on the autumn equinox at September 22nd instead of January 1st. All right, so here is what the calendar looked like, because they wanted to talk about, especially when it came to the renaming of the months, they wanted to get into things that were a little bit more in line with being descriptive in a way that it's like reflecting the cycles of nature. agriculture. They definitely didn't want anything to sound like mythology of one ancient religion or another, or especially they didn't want anything to do with Christianity. Here it is. This is the French Revolutionary calendar. So, New Year's Day, September 22nd. It leads us to October 21st. That is Vintager month. Vintage. Okay? Then on October 22nd is the first day of Foggy month. I shit you not. It's called Foggy month. November 21st to December 20th is Chilly. Today is the last day of Snowy. It's December 21st to January 19th, everybody, so it is Snowy Day. Tomorrow is the first day, January 20th, of Rainy month. Then there's Windy from February 19th to March 20th. Of the Sprouts, March 21st to April 19th. Flowery month, April 20th to May 19th. Grassy, May 20th. Harvester was on June 19th. Heat Giver was on July 19th. And Fruit Giver was on August 18th. Now, remember they had 5 extra holidays that they can do to balance out the year, and then another one on a leap year. You have the Day of Virtue, the Day of Engineering, a Day of Work, a Day of Opinion, a Day of Rewards, and then, of course, a Day of Revolution, which is only on leap years. Didn't last very long. It created a whole bunch of really great vintage high-worth clocks. There were some clock makers out there in France that would make wristwatches, pocket watches, all that stuff that had the old regular way of telling time and the day and the month and all that stuff with a little bit of a key to what it translates to now. Anyway, here, I actually got a picture of one of them over here. Take a look at that. This was a great blog. I'll share it in the Telegram. So, that all went away, obviously. Big disaster. A huge disaster. Let's see here. It was part of a broader effort at the age of enlightenment to radically break with old traditions and institutions that remake society based on reason and science. We all know what the reason and science people are like. Nuts. Now they haven't rolled out the guillotines yet, but they're willing. They're very willing. They dream of it. Hopefully, like I said, they just remain that kind of like effete, limp dick kind of Marxist type. I mean, there are some out there that are more crazy than others, but I mean, let's be honest. When we look at the physiognomy of the face and the kind of like gangly nature of them all, they're kind of like like arachnids, like stick insects or something like that. But the French were not alone in these nutty efforts. After the Russian Revolution in the early 20th century, they tried it as well, but it just doesn't work, and everybody just rebelled against it. See, they try to remake the wheel over and over again. So I just wanted to let you know that there are some funny things that happened from the French Revolution that weren't so gory. And today, I went and I calculated it. I had it calculated. Today is Monday, January 19th, 2026. But if the French Republic had survived and with it its calendar, then today would be the 30th day of Snowy month. It would be Snowy 30 of the year 234. Because of course that was year 0. When they started on September 22nd of 1792. So it would be 30 Snowy, year 234. I should start putting that in all the titles of the main episodes and see how many people start wigging out. He's doing that French Revolution thing again. So tomorrow's the first day of Rainy. Isn't that nice? Anyway, so for whatever it's worth about the UFO thing, I want to take your calls now. I would like to take your calls. For whatever it's worth, the UFO thing was not being reported on in any kind of a mocking way. Like I said, it was picked up by Newsweek and Yahoo and a few others. And yeah, you know what? Megan calmed me down. And that's why I seriously, we got to talk about other things. We got to get off this topic. I mean, the headlines are always going to be there, and the big ones we'll bring in. I have to imagine that we're going to get a lot of big headlines this year, so the world will just serve that up to us on a silver platter. Very nice. But we got to get into the weeds. Tomorrow, I've got Alberto Marchetti coming back in, as well as Vinny Brusco. I think my brother might stay. I told Anthony, because Anthony's leaving for California with Derek and Tom, who've set the charge on the 21st. So tomorrow is his last day in the area for a couple of days. So I think I might have a full house in here tomorrow. And that can go all over the place. That's going to be really great. And then we have on Wednesday, we have Timothy Gordon and Robert Morrow Jr. coming back on for that follow-up episode about Robert Morrow's work and his friendship, his relationship with Malachi Martin. I have so many more questions. So many questions that we didn't have time for. So that'd be great. Thursday night, who the hell knows? Jay Britz, let's get to those super chats. Let's see here. And then, ladies and gentlemen, please, wherever you're watching right now, give a like and a comment and just fluff up that chat with some good vibes. It's very, very necessary. Let's see here. Jay Britt says, great talk with Megan. Wonderful start to the new week. Thank you, Jay. Stowstube says, great Monday evening, Frank and Franklies. Thank you, guys. Good to have you. The dude from 1965 survives. Says, Frank, thanks for taking my mind off a useless brain activity tonight. You rock. Well, I'm sorry I dragged it to Minneapolis. It would seriously would not even have been something I would want to talk about if it weren't for Don Lemon. I hope that I hope he's arrested. Oh man, I hope he's arrested. No doubt about it. I think that he thinks at this point getting arrested would be a good thing for his flailing career. It has to be why he did this. You can't show up with a bunch of reporters and then put a microphone into the face of the leader of a congregation in the middle of the infestation. Like, that's crazy, the timing. It's one thing for Don Lemon to be across the street at a coffee shop, having some coffee and watching the whole thing coming down, watching people running. The fact that he's the first to the scene would still be suspicious, but damn, he just walked in with them. It's insane. Joe Martinez, thank you so much, my friend. You know what? Tomorrow, I'll see what else I can give away, but tomorrow we're going to be giving this. That's it. I'm putting the Stunads, all of you. Not you guys, of course. Some more than others. Stunads, all of you. It's a medium. So if you want to put in a super chat on Quite Frankly superchat.com or YouTube or Rumble or the Gold Pills, if you want to put in a super chat to a chance to win a medium for somebody in your life who would fit in it, then go right ahead. I'm going to pair that up with something else there tomorrow too. So the Stunad shirt is going to be going out tomorrow, or will be announced tomorrow. And because I can't wear it. I looked at that. I wasn't even going to try it on. I told my mom I'm not putting. It's not going to work. I haven't worn a medium in years. I'm going to look like a stuffed sausage, an overstuffed sausage. I knew it would look that bad. So hopefully it fits nicely on one of you guys. All right, a couple more things, and then I have a remarkable video again from Minnesota. I have to watch with you because I just saw a little bit of it, and I know it's going to be funny. It's just outrageous. Waltzy V says, "Yep." Well, hello, Waltzy. How are you? That's over on Rumble. Tommy Jekyll says, "Frank, Robert Morrow Jr.'s book on Father Malachi Martin is very digestible for a know-nothing about Catholicism like me. Father Martin's book on his pet his pet terrier and windswept house are in my hands. Windswept House, you're going to love. You're going to love. And along the way, you are going to learn some things about the hierarchy of the church and how, like, it's just a government. It's crazy. And how things work there, because it teaches you, it sets up all this tension with how every office is being set up against each other to put pressure on John Paul II to get him out. All this Freemasonic pressure that's coming, that's building up. It's really crazy. It's great. I think you're really going to love it. So there you have that. All right. So the lines are open for now. 914-200-0269. And let me get to a couple of super chats over on Pilled. Delona, hello, my friend. Sentinel says the FBI has had biometric and face recognition tech since right after 9/11. The DOW used it in Iraq to de-Baathify the regime, and in Afghanistan too. Border Patrol has been using it at the border for years. I have been concerned that the U.S. government would use it more widely for all citizens. The Uniparty has been waiting for this moment to implement it. That's where I become a lot more hesitant. A lot of these people that ICE are looking for right now have standing deportation orders. And their deportation protections are being revoked. You know who they are, where they are. It's not that hard to find them all. But yeah, the rolling out of new technology right now, tracking technology right now, that's going to be used against us one day. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen. So I know some people would say, well, that being said, can we use it right now for an objectively good end for us? If no matter what, it's going to be used against us? Like, what is delaying it right now? It's like, oh, no, then you get into a whole other field. Crockett Man says the Crown is afraid they will be exposed as reptilians. Certainly are. Molly says, great guest. Love Megan Fox. Looking forward to her updates. Me too, this whole year. Okay, James, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Frank, got a question for you. In all your research of the French stuff, do you happen to know if if each month had its own song?
Had its own song?
Yeah. Nothing was mentioned of that, right?
Hold on. Well, no, why?
Because I figured with the names like Rainy and Snowy, those are stripper names. And so you figure they would each have their own song to come out onto the stage for.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see here. Hold on. I wouldn't be surprised if they all had like pub songs and shit. While there weren't a specific set of popular songs for each French Revolutionary calendar month, the era produced iconic revolutionary songs. I'm not going to say these names. No way. The hell is it? So okay. No. So yes, you're right. They were very stripper-like names.
But it doesn't sound like this music would be very stripper-like. I mean, it wouldn't be good intro music for them coming onto the stage.
Right. Yes. I'm with you.
I'll maybe I'll check up on the Bolshevik Revolution to see if they have anything else to offer.
You should. You know what? And if not, we can always just assign some ZZ Top songs to each month. That'd be fine. I think the coming out of the snowy month. Hold on. What's the other? Where's that month? Thank you for the call, James. Where are the months? Hold on. We got to get some Sharp Dressed Man. We got to Give Me All Your Lovin'. Give Me All Your Lovin' that's like you have to have that playing at a strip club. I'll have to go find them again later on. Let's take a call. 856, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey,
who's this?
This is Sally. I don't know. I've called in before.
Sally, how are you? I think I remember.
Keeping it real.
You sound very chilled out tonight, Sally.
I'm always maxing and relaxing.
Maxing, relaxing. Okay. So what has gotten you thinking tonight? Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking about how we don't have the technology to make dildos like actual different kinds, as far as I can't just make my current dildo into my boyfriend's dick or the guy next door's dick. Like, we have to go out and buy a separate dildo. We can't just, seems like a waste.
It's a waste? What'd you say?
It's a waste. Yeah, we're wasting like cell phone batteries over in Africa.
Yeah.
Polluting the world.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's first of all, I feel bad for your boyfriend that you want a dildo. Oh shit, what the hell just happened? That you want your guy next door's model dildo. I feel bad for your boyfriend there. Sounds like you have conversations about that. Maybe he's into that kind of thing. I don't know. But somebody help. She needs something rechargeable. Help her. Somebody help her. Okay, let's see what else. Let's see. 914-200-0269. Bryburger says, hello from Northern Nevada. Where the Illuminati... Where are the... Where the are Illuminati'd? Did you want to say, where are the Illuminati? I don't know where they are. I don't know. People are wondering where they are. They're wondering where the aliens are. We might get some answers this year. It seems. Molly, thank you so much. Boys Blanc, thank you. NX17 says, Megan is a great guest, thank you. And Serpentine says, hey, trust the science, Frank. Oh, I am. Trusting the science of those lithium mines in Africa. So our last caller can have her bedroom toys stay alive for another 12 hours. Poor thing has probably been through the ringer. ZZ Top winners for strip clubs: Tube Steak Boogie, Planet of Women, and Sharp Dressed Man. I don't know how you have to add in Give Me All Your Lovin' though. Oh wait, there it is. Wait, no, that was me. Okay, good. Noted. Okay, you ready for this? Take a listen to this one, and then we're going to go on a quick break, and hopefully some calls. Here we go. Ready? There's a chick, and I'm telling you, this is all role playing. Woman reveals a quick response group that she's in. It was able to impede and obstruct an operation that ended in a detainee being let loose. I don't know how this is possible, if it's real or not. I just don't think so. But still, take a listen to this. She's a nut.
It's January 17th, and I'm coming out of Minneapolis right now with 2 small wins today. One, Jacob Black.
First of all, starts off the transmission. See, they see themselves as rebels. I used to pretend to be a rebel in the army with my brother and the boys in our neighborhood during the summers of the mid to late 90s. We had an army. Every day we were out doing maneuvers, and we were planning a great battle with other kids in other neighborhoods with their super soakers and all that stuff. This woman thinks she's fighting a war. She feels like this is real. Okay? So she's starting off this transmission because that's what rebels do.
It's January 17th, and I'm coming out of Minneapolis right now with 2 small wins today.
And there's the hair. She has to signal everybody the hair. Front and center. Confirming my armpits are not shaved. It's like flashing a badge. So she's starting off her transmission like a good rebel. They transmit communications, of course. They don't just post a reel. A reel is too inconsequential. For the record, it is January 17th, and I am transmitting this message from base station in Minnesota in the front lines, and here's confirmation that my fucking armpits are not shaved. Now let's get on with the rest of my yappy bullshit.
One, Jacob Lang, the leader of this like little pro-ICE rally in downtown Minneapolis, didn't go so well for him today. Small numbers, they kept getting cornered in downtown, and then a very friendly Minnesotan gave him a nice super soaking, drenching him head to toe in water, including his little cotton gloves and cotton hat.
So now she's giving us a battle report. Okay, this is the details about a local patriot or somebody who is ICE adjacent or pro-ICE. How a local was vanquished in a squirt gun fight. Okay? All right? That's it. This is incredible. Rebellions require midnight meetings in meat lockers and warehouses down at the docks. Secret knocks on the door and passwords. That's what it is. What these people are doing is fascinating. They are so into themselves. So fucking into themselves. She thinks that she's fucking John Connor. So somebody got squirted with a squirt gun.
For reference, it's 13 degrees here in Minneapolis today. He got so cold, he began asking Minnesotans for help, which of course they did not give him. Last I heard, the Minneapolis Police Department was pursuing him in his red Ford Dart somewhere in South Minneapolis. This leads me to my next small win. Today in South Minneapolis at the Arco gas station on Lake Street, a convoy of 4 vehicles filled with ICE agents pulled up on a man pumping gas and arrested him, threw him in the back of one of their vehicles to abduct him when we got the call for this ICE sighting. Within minutes, we had 20 to 30 observers on foot and in vehicle, myself included. I posted a video on my page where we showed up.
Can't breathe. Too much yapping.
And we overwhelmed these ICE agents so much that they let this detainee go.
Oh my gosh. You did that? Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Within minutes, me and 20 of my gay friends, armed with nothing but squirt guns and estrogen, intercepted a convoy of federal law enforcement officers, and they call themselves observers, because what are you going to, I mean, that's just like legalese. We're just observers. We're just observers. We're just watching you. So they overwhelmed ICE with a level of observation previously thought impossible. And ICE, they were so observed at the moment that they had to abandon their arrest, according to this girl. Yet they had who they needed. They had already been apprehended, cuffed, and in one of the police vehicles. But because she and her observer friends showed up, they open up the vehicle and just let the person go. That was the power of the observation. It makes no sense. But still, I mean, I don't believe for a second that happened. That ICE even waited around for all these people to show up 20 minutes until the flock of Democrat observers showed up. And then the suspect had to be let go because they were being observed.
Now, my video does not include this detainee's face or his vehicle as a means to protect him further, but it's working, you guys. It's working. And I know that dozens of arrests are happening in the metro area every day, but dozens more would be happening if it wasn't for the organized way that my community is showing up to stop these ICE agents.
Oh my God. It's working, you guys. Our plan of having dozens of stinky, unshaven, jobless women on call to mob law enforcement at gas stations is working. It's working as planned. The fact that this skank is so lost in this fantasy that she is John Connor, some sci-fi resistance leader, that she doesn't even put 2 and 2 together, that if this story is at all real, that this video that she has made is a signed and dated admission for conspiracy to obstruct federal operations. This is, if this nobody isn't given years just for this alone, especially with the lengths that prosecutors and judges in D.C. had to go to in order to concoct shit to charge people with over January 6th, then what confidence would everybody have that anything bigger is going to happen? This is, I mean, the rules of engagement have got to change here. They don't give a shit. They don't care. Hey, King, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, a broad there, you played there with the tats and the hairy armpits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to sniff her pics, man.
I knew exactly what you were going to say. I knew you were going to say. I
want to get a whiff of those. I really do. And let me tell you something. Tell you this, and I tell everybody else. I could convert that broad. Trust me. That's why you got guys like me out here to calm down these crazy cunts. I could convert that bitch real quick.
Honestly,
I'm talking about.
Listen, I have no doubt in my mind that so many of them with a little specialized attention would completely drop this act and find themselves.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, Frankie. You know, you're a common sense guy.
Yeah, but here's the whole thing, though. It's one thing to say, okay, that one will definitely break. It's another thing when you go the 30,000-foot view, the bird's eye view, and you realize just how many are out there and that you could never do it all yourself.
Yeah, that's true. You can't save everybody, as the old saying goes.
Right, but this one maybe.
Yeah, I'd be willing to take the time with this one. I would.
I know.
I would. I'd be willing to invest time in this one. I would.
Well,
I would be willing to invest time to save this bitch.
Let me see. I don't know. She's well. I don't know. She's probably posting all over the place. Oh, her name is Ray. She's on TikTok. It's just that's what it is. Her name is Ray.
Well, Ray, don't shave. Keep that hair.
Ray will keep. Ray will keep you out of jail as long as you don't shave.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
Have a good one.
You too, my friend.
All right, take it easy. Let me see. Would King be? Let's see here. She, her. She's got the proton. You got to get her to stop using the pronouns and everything. King. Therapy thoughts. Oh man, she's off. She's bad. She's got problems. Big time problems. Let's see what else we got. Oh, King. You're gonna have an issue. Arrested. She's begging for Trump to be arrested. Oh, King, you have a lot. You got a lot on your hands here. And her hair doesn't look as good in other videos as the one we just watched. She spent some time with that hair. Had a little bit more volume, a little bit more life. You can tell that she was just feeling really good after vanquishing ICE with all of her squirt guns. And that's what we have on that. That's all I have on that. Okay? So yes. All right. We're going to take a couple more calls, and then I'm going to actually get off a couple of minutes early here tonight. I want to get ready for book club, and there's some other things going on, and I wanted to take care of in the other room because there's a lot more moving and shaking that's going to be happening in the studio music-wise, which I'm very excited about. Seems like multiple projects might be coming alive all at once. So real quick, I just want to thank my sponsors for this evening. That's Keto Brainz, and now that we only have less than 2 weeks left of the whole month, just remember, promo code January. Not only do you get 15% off of everything, but there's going to be 4 winners now for giveaways. The top prize is like over $450 worth of products and all that assorted stuff. And then the last 3 are getting free big bags of Keto Brainz and salty electrolyte packs and all that stuff. So use promo code January when you shop on ketobrainz.com this month for the rest of the month. Because now there's going to be 4 people that win, which is great. Because even the runner-ups are awesome. You get yourself another bag of Keto Brainz, you're set for another month at least. And unless you're like me and you just can't get enough. Although I didn't have any today. That's probably why I'm feeling so like I want to throw my fist through a wall. Anywho, that's what we have. That's where it all comes down to. What do you think about the aliens? Not the actual aliens. I know what the range of opinions it's going to be with people in the chat room, But what do you think from a banking perspective that means? Because I don't see how everything collapses because the existence of aliens is announced. Why would the financial markets collapse? You know, I think that you would get lukewarm response from people. Why would the financial markets collapse? Especially if you're announcing that there is some sort, we are a member of some galactic neighborhood, and that we have been known to other civilizations for a long time. They're known to us, we're known to them, and now the general public's being brought in on it. Unless you're talking about something that is uncooperative, why the hell, when I say uncooperative, like there's some kind of a real threat looming and that we don't have much time left, like Independence Day kind of threat, why would there be craziness? Why would suddenly all the financial institutions collapse? You know? That's why most people commenting on this are just like, okay, well, what are the banks going to use this as an excuse to do? This is usually what wars are used for. Is war not an option? I would like that to be no matter what, but it's just very strange. Very strange indeed. So that's what we have. And I'd like to hear from you guys, and we'll see what the hell else. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Well, it might just be me and Robert Morrow Jr. on Wednesday. I don't think Timothy Gordon can actually make it. It's all right. We'll figure it out. One way or another, we'll figure it out. We roll with the punches. And there you go. Bring whatever you want from the weekend. The lines are open. I didn't have it up on screen. The lines are open, and we're building up toward a really nice week of programming. U.S. forces withdraw from Iraqi federal territory. Michigan says, hold my beer. We have our own soul-sucking fraud. Everybody does. Everybody does. That's what I'm talking about. A judge and his wife were killed in their home in Indiana. Things like that. I know that the Zells are probably looking into that one right now. Cynthia, you there?
Hey, Frank.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody else. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good. Hey, this is Willie63. Called you last August.
Hey, Willie.
You were talking about birthdays and significance last week sometime on a show. I don't remember exactly what, but I routinely look up my birthday and all my family members' birthdays. I go on sites and stuff and say who's got a famous birthday. And I looked up the 2nd of April.
Yeah.
Which I remember is your birthday.
Who'd you find? Charlemagne?
You share a birthday with Charlemagne. Yes, you do. Not Charlemagne the God, but the actual Charlemagne. And you also share a birthday with Zach Bryan, some country guy, I guess. Marvin Gaye. Jesse Plemons, who played Todd in Breaking Bad. You share a birthday with Alec Guinness. Giacomo Casanova.
Giacomo.
Yeah, Giacomo Casanova. Hans Christian Andersen.
Uh-huh.
Walter Chrysler. You remember Jed Clampett?
Yes.
Christian Buddy Ebsen Jr.
Am I going to win a prize or something like that?
Not yet. Not yet. Jack Webb from Dragnet. Don Sutton. Reggie Smith. Camille Paglia.
Camille Paglia has my birthday?
Camille Paglia was born on April 2nd. Yeah.
Wow, I've wanted her on. It was a dream to have her on the show, and I tried. I found some contacts for her along the way, and whoever was like her assistant, her secretary. She stopped doing appearances that weren't primarily academic. So I was very politely declined. I always wanted.
She would be a really interesting interview.
Oh, she would have been great, but I don't have that was very. I don't know. That door was closed a few years ago.
Yeah, well, she's probably on her way out anyway.
Don't say that. I'm sure she eats a lot of steak from what I hear, so she'll probably be fine.
Yeah, Emmylou Harris, Deborah Lee Scott.
Okay.
Ron Palillo. Ooh. Mysticata. Rodney King.
Rodney King has an April 2nd birthday?
Yes, he does.
I didn't know all this shit. Okay, give me two more. I don't know what we're getting at. Go ahead.
Leon Russell.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
And old school radio guys, Dr. Demento.
Oh, I know Dr. Demento. I know of Dr. Demento. I've heard him honored on other people's shows, but well, this was very nice. Thank you. Was there a reason you wanted to throw that out there? Just because?
Well, I really appreciated your interview with Megan, and I always try to catch you just every evening, and I won't give you the rundown on my own birthdays.
Right.
Because you're limited on time, and it's time to go to book club, but I love you, Frank. Love Lauren and Aurora and your mom and dad and Matt and Aunt and all of the Frankly crew, and I'm glad I got through.
I'm glad you got through too. And there's a couple of people there I really did not know. It's too bad you didn't call in with that list on April 2nd. But knowing me, I'll probably take that night off or something and just stare at a wall in my living room or whatever. But I
contemplate life.
Yeah, contemplate life as I move.
What happened? You're doing great, my friend. You really are, and just keep on keeping on.
Thank you for putting together a bit with me tonight. That was pretty great. There you go, Rodney King. I'm gonna wear that on my sleeve from now on. Yeah, me and Rodney King, we have the same. Rodney King, and Charlemagne. You want to talk about the spectrum? There's a spectrum for you. Frank from Quite Frankly, Charlemagne, and the Emperor. So. Okay. Does anybody have any other things, any digs that they've been doing? I would love to hear it. What is this? Don Lemon is trying to avoid jail after learning of a possible DOJ investigation. Attempts to spin the story as if he wasn't aware of the anti-ICE extremist group's operation plans to storm the church. Quote, I didn't even know that they were going to this church until we followed them there. What a child. Bro, you rolled the dice. You didn't think. You don't have the capability to think. You couldn't see 2 steps ahead, and you lost. I didn't even know that we were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests. One protest, once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism. Instead of calling the cops. So if you see a neighbor's house getting broken into by, a mob of robbers, the first thing you should do is run into the house with a microphone and interview the owner of the house while these people are rummaging through all of their dressers. That's what you should do. That's an act of journalism there. People need to know what it's like. Unfortunately for Don, this revisionist version of events doesn't hold up. In the short clip last night, you can see that Don documented the entire final planning of the operation in a parking lot with the group. Oh yeah, he gave them coffee. They had a wrap party. He arrived at the parking lot location to meet the group clearly with the purpose of filming the entire operation. He is careful to turn his camera away so as not to disclose critical details that were being discussed right in front of him. Don reveals details of the plan that they already knows, including the white allies are needed. Quote, there's a reason they have so many white people here. I'm just going to be honest. It's because of the operation that they're doing today. It's important to have white allies here. Incredible. They turn it all about. That's how you know that the Somalians are working for the Democrats. That's how you know. They're probably all given the same. Listen, stick to this. Stick to this. They want you out because you're Muslim. A fraud. It's like, why would you want to make a big deal about this fraud when so many people, you should never come down on Somalians until you start arresting everybody else. Like, it's incredible. That is nuts. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hello.
Hello?
Hey, Frank.
Who's this?
Is this Frank?
It
no,
is.
I'm just kidding with you, man.
Is this?
I didn't think I would get through.
Oh, you would. Yes, tonight you would. How are you? Is this Terry?
No, this is Jared. I'm a longtime listener. Not big into social media or computer stuff in general. I've always wanted to call in, but I just tried calling in for the heck of it.
Well, hell, you're on the show. So any thoughts, any things you want to say, any predictions for the new year? I don't care.
Well, Don Lemon is a pathetic turd. And I was wondering if you could say happy birthday to my daughter, Mia. It's her birthday in 4 days.
Mia?
And, yes, Mia.
How old is Mia?
She's going to be 6.
Oh, my.
And I've kind of watched her grow up as we've watched Aurora grow up. It's been cool.
Wow, Mia, happy birthday. Is she there right now?
She's not here with me tonight. I have her on the weekends than my other sons.
Is she losing teeth yet?
Not as many as her brothers did by this age.
Okay. Because Aurora, she's like 5, and I don't know. She turned 5 in September, and she's got one tooth that's really getting there. It's getting close, and we can see the first tooth in the back popping up. So it's forcing. The dentist said that she had like 2 or 3 that are loose, and she's all excited. I just thought that we had a little extra time with those beautiful little baby teeth, but nope, that's it.
Hanging on for dear life.
I know. Well, I hope that Mia has a wonderful birthday, and I hope that she enjoys her birthday cake, and that she enjoys being 6, because you're only 6 once.
Well, hey, brother, when she sees this, she's going to love it, and I appreciate it, and it's been good listening to you over the years, man. You have definitely been I don't know what saying, but you've made me feel sane in a crazy world. I'll just put it that way.
Well, call in again soon. It's the year is just starting, so I want to hear from you again. Thanks, man.
Sounds good, brother. Have a good one.
All right, take care. Happy birthday to little Mia. Back to this real quick, because it's fantastic that Don Lemon is running for the hills. There's a reason why they have so many white people. I'm just going to be honest. Don admits he knows why white people were wanted for this operation, because he knew exactly what the operation was. He then divulges that he was allowed by the group to document their protest activity, known as Operation Pull-Up. They have, I'm telling you, they're children, man. Thank you for allowing me to be here, he says. It was an act of journalism. Man, perhaps there's just a little bit of justice. I mean, he won't spend any time in jail. It actually would help him too. I don't want him to be helped. But this is subversive shit, and I can't stand it anymore. And don't worry, we'll be talking about other things tomorrow. I have got some really nice things lined up, and it is going to be a great week altogether. Silly Boar says, hey, Frank, Grizz270 on DLive gave you over 11K diamonds a minute ago. Just in case you didn't want to be... Who? What? Hold on. I have the DLive chat up, but I never see anything over there. Let me see what the hell's going on up here. Grizz, holy shit. I can't thank you enough. I really miss DLive being a big player in all of this. I really do. it's one of those things, and I don't even know what diamonds do. I just know that the lemons are something. I just released the scratch in there. 11K. What do you mean? D Live is a great place. I've done a lot of things on there that used to be where the network was. I do a lot of sound tests over there when we have new music things going on. So I still really like that D Live is out there, and I appreciate the people there's always dozens of people who watch there, and I can't thank you enough for all of this. I wish there was a better way to actually feed in all of the lemons and and all of those supers, so that I can encourage people to support a little bit more there. I just can't. It's very hard to keep track of all the chat rooms that I do, so I do what I can. But I appreciate you guys, really do. And I appreciate you all everywhere. So that's it for right now. It's 10 to 9. I'm going to be going live in a couple of minutes, about 9 o'clock, for all of you who are reading along. Even if you're not, you just want to sit in on the book club session. If you are a monthly sponsor, a member, no matter where it is, I posted that link all over the place. The members only sections on YouTube, on the website, Patreon, Subscribestar. It's all out there, all for you, working my tail off, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Thank you for starting a new week with me. Thank you again to Megan Fox for being a wonderful friend to the show and good person to talk to. And that's what we have right now. Jeannie Yankee fans, it's nice to see Megan. Jesse gifted a sub tier 1 to Remydrix on Twitch. I like seeing things happen on Twitch still there too. That's that. And Independent Alberta says, Frank, I know you'd appreciate how freedom lovers in Alberta need to break away from commie Canada. This is part of the journey to independence. StayFreeAlberta.com. I've been hearing about that. I've been hearing about it. I know that Canadians are not all lost. I know that, not by a long shot. I know that there's a lot of people who see writing on the wall. Jay Semo says, happy Monday over on Rumble. I appreciate it, my friend. And that's what we got going on. All right. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Be good. And yeah, leave a like, leave a comment. Become a sponsor. Soon, very soon, I'm going to be showing you guys the new 20th anniversary t-shirts that we are going to be exclusively giving out to new sponsors that are going to sign up. Also, current sponsors are going to have them for essentially just like the cost of printing. And it's just a big way of leaning into 20 years. It's going to be less than 2 weeks. What was it, February 6th or something like that? I have the date over there. We got 2.5 weeks, and it's been 20 years since our first broadcast. That I've been broadcasting in one form or another for 20 years. And this year I really want to bust down some walls. And I know we can do it. I know an audience like this can help me do it, and I really need your help. And so I'm going to be making some incentives that are too hard to pass up. On top of everything else I already give our monthly subscribers. So thank you so much, and patronize our wonderful sponsors, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
That's right. Quite Frankly's Film Before a Live studio audience. The Super Chatters. Oh, Jeannie, Jesse, Bryberger, Joe Martinez, and Jay Britz and Stowstube, and the Dude from 1965. It's good to have you all here. Thank you to our Rumble Ranters, our Gold Pillars. I'm releasing the Scratchin' right now, and the Treasure Chest on D Live has been dumped over. You guys have been wonderful. Have a great night.